Welcome back to the Voices of Change podcast. I am yours truly, Tex Wambui.
Gabriel Martinez coming to you live and direct for another episode. We appreciate everybody that's been taking part in following this journey. For today is going to be our third episode titled Self-Care Stories. We're going to dive into and delve into the importance of treating yourself right, take care of yourself, what self-care means, and how you can apply that to your life. Take it away, Tex. You go ahead and finish that off. Appreciate you.
Exactly. So we're going to break down what self-care really means, share some personal stories, and because, we love to have a good debate maybe here and there, a good talk, we'll also tackle the myths around self-care and whether it's something that should be selfish or selfless. So let's get into it. So first segment of the day is we're going to talk about the most expensive or memorable thing we've done for self-care. All right. So it's something a little fun, something a little light. So Gabe, what would you say is the most expensive or memorable thing you've ever done for self-care related purposes? Like that one time where you told yourself, like, I really, really deserve this and I need this.
Absolutely. Okay. So I would definitely say the most expensive thing that comes to mind, right? I have a few that will pop up to the top of my head, but the first one that comes to mind is buying my first car. Now, when I talk about buying my first car, the first vehicles that I have driven, one was like a 2000 Toyota Camry. Another one was like a 2012 Ford Escape, right? Those are two cars that I kind of had help with getting. But my first actual car that I bought myself was a 2018 Dodge Challenger SXT.
Yeah.
And boy, I was excited when I bought that thing because I had been working hard. I'd been saving my money. And I was in a good place at the time. I think it was 2020. And, I'd never had really bought or made a big purchase for myself in that regard. I think the most at the time that I've ever bought for myself was maybe like a pair of Beats headphones back in college. But at the time, during COVID, especially, and this is a great topic to dive into and to start the podcast off with, especially during COVID, there's a lot of mass depression going around. People were inside. There wasn't much to do. Unfortunately, people were, drinking a lot more and indulging in vices that weren't the best for them. People's minds were in the best place moving forward. So for myself, during that time, buying that car, especially at a 2% interest rate, amen, hallelujah, was a beautiful thing for me because it set myself in my mind that, okay, I'm able to achieve things greater than, what I've imagined. But in addition as well, it was, my dream car at the time. I've always wanted to have a Dodge Challenger. I went and got it, got pre-approved, and boom, baby, they gave it to me. And so that was beautiful for me, and it set up a lot more for myself. It set up a lot more to dedicate to, enjoy, and to also be mindful of the things that we do have, the things that are available to us. Yes, sir.
Man, that's dope. Yeah, I do remember that car you had. Nice. We took a trip one time to LA, and then the rest is history. That was a really nice
And the
car.
rest is history.
Is history. Yeah. For me, this is a tough question. Like when I was going through this and kind of going through like planning, is like I was thinking about what is the most expensive thing I've ever bought myself, or memorable thing. And honestly, to be honest, I have nothing to say. Like there's not one thing that I think I have ever bought myself in terms of like self-care. Actually, no, let me rephrase it. Actually, let me think. No, I got something. I just remember something. Well, I really used to love playing basketball. Still do. It's been a while though since I hoop, but anybody want one-on-one challenges, I do it. I got a nice fade back like Dirk Nowitzki. But I went and got myself hey, once I'm hot though, it's all going in. Just they call me a little Curry on the court sometime.
Yeah, getting hot. Okay, for sure.
I bought myself some the LeBron James Toes limited editions Olympic ones, and those shoes, I had always wanted them, right? But I never wanted them for like playing basketball. I just wanted them just to have them because I'm a big LeBron James fan, right? So I was like, you know what, I want to get one of these. But once I got those shoes, man, I feel like my hooping lifestyle just became like, I feel like I was a god on the court. Like I feel like I was LeBron with those shoes on. And that was probably one of the most expensive, memorable things I ever bought myself. It's not that expensive actually, because I was able to get them on discount as well. I used all the discount apply codes on them because them shoes was like $750. Was able to get them for like $250 after applying all those things, and that to me was a very, very memorable part that really kind of allowed me to appreciate and accept, giving something to myself back. So that'll probably be one of the most expensive things I've ever bought for myself. There's plenty of other things I've bought in life and that are expensive and stuff, but I wouldn't say they were. I guess they are related to self-care being memorable. I did buy a trip myself once with a dear friend Brian. We went to Italy, and that trip was that was like one of the most unplanned trips I have ever experienced, because it was during a time where I think I was talking to some new girl and whatever, and me and Brian were talking about let's go see the world, and we were trying to. It was kind of in that phase of your life where you're like, oh, maybe this girl might be the one. Maybe I need to go see something out there in the world, see whatever. Funny enough, we were sitting down. He probably, if he ever gets a chance to share this story, but he probably have a better recount of this experience. But all I remember was we was like, let's just go to Italy. And next day, we had tickets, hotel, everything booked. And the rest is history. That's all I can say. The rest is history. So that was a very memorable experience to where I got the opportunity to kind of go and just enjoy. It was in the midst of actually, I was in the middle of midterms, I think. I was in undergrad. We had this class called Game Theory. And for anybody who took Game Theory with me, I failed that class 3 times, actually. I never passed that class, and I still got a degree. Anyway, don't ask how or why. But the professor I had, his name was Guacamo or something. He had an Italian name. So that was where my basis of, I want to go to Italy, because my professor, he was Italian. He's talking about all these great economic things. So all I was thinking about at that time was like, talking about the Roman Empire, talking about Italy's economy, all these things. So that's how I transpired to finding myself to going to Italy. It also gave me a chance to kind of just enjoy time to myself before I came back to take those midterms and having to deal with the girlfriend I had at that time and all this good stuff. So yeah, that was probably, those are probably 2 things. Yeah, man. So
Okay. Right on, man. See, I love to hear that actually, because, self-care isn't really just about money. It's about investing into yourself in ways that matter to you. So, for instance, when I invested into having that car, it was it wasn't necessarily about the money of it. It was the aspect of like taking the necessary steps to make myself feel good. For you, in your instance, right, it was about having a greater than life experience. It was about putting yourself in a place that you've never been before so that you can see more, you can experience more. And I think that when it comes to self-care, it doesn't necessarily have to be circulated around money. It can, but more importantly, it's about the experience that you have and how that shapes the world that you live in.
yeah, and you hit it right on point right there. Sometimes the best self-care move isn't just about spending. People always want to associate self-care to finances. I disagree. Self-care is not just about finances. Of course, your finances should have its own form of self-care where you have a spending, a saving, investment, your portfolio of self-care for your finances. And I think self-care is about making time for your actual sanity, your actual self. So now transitioning to the next part of our conversation today, we're going to talk about self-care rituals. Gabe, I'm going to let you roll this one up.
I'll take it away. So let's dive into it. So when we talk about self-care rituals, ritual not necessarily meaning like on a weekly, on a monthly, on a yearly, more so on our day-to-day, right? And these aren't necessarily going to be our big splurges, but it's going to be the little things that add up to help keep your mind, your body, and your spirit in the right place. So for Tex, like, what does that look like for you?
Man, so I got a story for this one. So when I started learning about self-care, I was young, right? I was always told about always take care of yourself, but I never understood what the hell that meant. So I was always thinking about, making sure I was showered, clean, ate well, slept good, had my good hours of sleep, exercising, all those are all the good things that are common sense to each person, right? I got to college and I was like, first year I had a different environment. That's where we met too. So I had a different environment, and I started hanging around my friends who were on that weed, as they would say. It was this nice scent aroma that started being around all the time. So I started saying like, nope, that's not me. That's not how I was raised. No. So I was super, super reluctant on it for a very long time until I tried it, right? And the only reason I tried it, of course, peer pressure was a little part of it, but it was not because of peer pressure. It's because I just wanted to try something different and new, considering I was in an environment where I was in a constant intellectual stimulation to where I had imposter syndrome, not knowing if I fit in, not knowing if I'm smart enough or good enough to thrive in these classes that I'm in or around these people. So I said, let pass me the blunt. Hit my first time. Felt good. Started realizing, wow, I am less stressed. I feel more relaxed and calm. Funny enough, it became a self-care ritual. Not saying I'm out here preaching that that's what you should do, people. To anybody listening to this, I am not here to preach to you that you should be going out there asking, pass me the blunt or the joint or hitting the bong. No. What I'm saying is that I found that at that point in my time in my life, it was a self-care ritual that I was doing. It became a habit, actually, to where anytime I felt like something was going wrong, my mind couldn't, I would be like, hey, where my bong at? Pass me let's roll up, whatever. And that was a self-care ritual, which I have outgrown, actually, out of doing, because at that time, it was probably one of the things that I found to actually help me out a lot. And it was a ritual that allowed me to actually delve into other aspects of my self-care rituals, like writing. I really, really love to write. With that aspect, I became really fond of journaling. At that time, I was trying to be a music producer. I don't know why or how, but I fell in love with trying to make music. So I started finding myself trying to, every time I had free to myself, I would try to make music or meditate. I became a very, very big person on taking walks. And that was something I found myself, as well as still participating, in doing that activity. Now where I'm at right now in my life currently, some of my self-care rituals are definitely not that. I definitely don't smoke weed. Definitely transition into other things which were more detrimental at some point, which you can delve in a different day. For now, for me, my biggest self-care ritual that I do is I like to be able to talk. Like when I say talk, so I talk to myself. Literally, I talk to myself like I'm a crazy person. And what I mean by I talk to myself through my pen, through my fingers, whatever it is. Like, I love to journal. I love to put my thoughts to things that are making, because your mind controls your body and your body helps control your mind. So the way for me, my ritual is usually, if I'm able to control my mind, I'm able to control my body. I cannot go to the gym if I have something pondering me in my head. I cannot go run if I have like something that's pondering me. So I put those two together to the point where I talk to myself first, write it out, put my body next, get my body into it, get involved. For example, there was this one time where I was doing this big project. It was not work related. It was more like a personal project that became a work project. And it was about to be like a big thing. And I was like super like having imposter syndrome. Like, am I good enough for this? Like, are my thoughts valid? What is it that I need to produce? Funny enough, I realized I needed to just give myself grace, one. And I just implemented my own self-care ritual of, let me talk to myself of what I want to do with this project, go and make my body feel some goodness, and they will all come together. Funny enough, it's something that I do every single damn day. I literally cannot tell you where I don't wake up, and the first thing I do is I talk to myself, and I'm like, I ask myself questions to where like, okay, yeah, I'm alive, my wheels are spinning. How's my body feeling, and then get my things rolling. And then another thing that I do, self-care ritual, is I actually indulge in social media. That is something that is probably not common. Like, that is a self-care routine that I have. If you find me scrolling on Instagram or scrolling on TikTok, well, not TikTok much, or you find me on YouTube, no, that is actually a self-care time that I'm having, because I'm not a big social media person. But like, when you find me on social media, oh yeah, I'm enjoying my time there, because I mostly go to social media to laugh, not gonna lie. Like, it's either I'm going there to laugh, see what people are up to, talk shit, or, whatever the hell it is, or just hear what the hell's going on in the world. That's a form of self-care for myself. But I have a limit and boundary to it, because I know when I'm into it too much, sometimes it can kind of be detrimental to me. So that is kind of another way of self-care that I do with. So yeah, man. Yeah, that's kind of my self-care rituals, bro.
Right on. I really appreciate what you shared right there. I actually remember when you started taking those walks, and I thought honestly, like, what the heck is this guy doing? Like, he's taking a walk like twice a day, 3 times a day. I'm like, bro, are you gonna stay in the house? Are you chill? Like, can you chill? Like, what's going on here? But come to find out, I remember I took a walk with you one of those days, and I was like, wow, I'm breathing. I'm getting the fresh air, my oxygen. I'm getting some sunlight. And my vitamin D, and it helped me. And I've definitely taken that step and applied it to my own type of daily ritual, or should I say just, my self-care that I do on the day to day, not only with myself, but with my family as well. So appreciate you. Now diving back into some self-care rituals for myself. What I like to do, and this always starts, I can do it like day to day, every day, is to drink water.
Yeah.
Okay. It is
Yes,
a
sir.
very small step for self-care that I always like to appreciate, especially stemming back from my days being an athlete. Your water intake is going to define your energy and what you could do throughout the day, right? It's also going to flush out your system and make sure that everything's moving in the right fashion. So I always drink water. That's the first thing I do when I wake up. I got a gallon bottle next to my desk, or should I say my stand right next to my bed. I forget the word. And I'll drink the water. Boom. I'll down that thing real quick. And what that does for me is like, okay, it wakes me up, but then it also sets me up for the rest of the day. Right. And I'm really big on systems. I'm really big on like processes and how I can make it as efficient as possible. Yeah, even at home, even at work, okay, what makes this work well? And what's worked well for me is putting it right next to my desk. Boom. Making sure I got a nice cold glass of water. It'll usually be lukewarm in the morning, and then I'll down and I'll down that, and then that helps me for the rest of the day. Of course, as well, I'm really big on hygiene, and I'm really big on making sure that I'm able to get the correct blood flow and stretch and do my own type of routine in the morning. So taking a shower, like a hot shower, finishing off with like a cold water at the end of it, so that like I'm up and ready. That really helps
You
me
be
just
taking
because.
cold showers?
Yeah, bro. I start off with a
Well, you it's a
hot
different
shower.
breed.
I start off with a hot shower, right, to get the blood flow and what have you. Wash yourself, make sure get to smell good out. You know what I'm saying? And then I always finish off with like 30 seconds to a minute in the cold water, because that it like shocks me. It like gets my body tight, my muscles tight, and I'm like, okay, like I'm ready to go. And so I always do that, and that it tends to bring my mind back into like self. Like I may be thinking about multiple other things, like, oh, I got to do this at work. I got to take care of this at home. I got to do stuff with my wife. I got to take care of my kids. Oh, I got to check in with him. I got to follow up with this guy. Like putting that into my routine has helped me to be boom and on one accord with where I'm going. Okay, all right, boom, it's time to lock in. So I appreciate that, and nonetheless, like that's something that I continually do, and it really helps me. Another self-care thing that I also do. Usually, most of my self-care happens in the mornings or at night, actually, and I love to get my body right. Right? They say it's mind, body, and spirit. So of course, I like to do a quick prayer before I do anything. I pray over my food. I pray over the day. Like, oh man, when I wake up, like, oh, thank the Lord. I woke up and, hope I have a great day and appreciate you. Amen. Hallelujah. Boom. Just something short, sweet. Doesn't have to necessarily be big. If something big is going on, I'll get a bigger prayer in the morning. In that form, it is a sense of meditation, and that helps to set my mind right. Right. Boom. So I get my mind set, and then also the previous rituals that I just explained. But then I like to do some push-ups, as many push-ups as I can. Usually sets of 50. If I can do like a quick set of 50 in the morning, maybe I'm not able to do my 200, 300, but if I do like 50 push-ups in the morning, I'm like, okay, I'm good to go. And I want to be able to still stay young and limber, especially when I got kids. So, I want to be that dad that they be like, dang, dad, okay, I see you. Like I want to be able to still be able to keep up with my kids when they get a little older, especially because I'm tall. They're going to be tall dudes, and I got to make sure I can take care of that. So that's interesting. That's a good one for me. And then so far as like spirit goes, a lot of people deal with certain ebbs and flows of their emotions. You may be high one day, you may be low another day. And what I do to kind of balance that out is to kind of be just mellow, be chill, right? Because whether you're in a high stress situation or a low stakes situation, if you're able to be even Steven and be the calm, the peace in the situations, you're always going to be better off, not only for your mental clarity and for, the way you think affects your body, which also affects your spirit, right? But if you're thinking positive and you're thinking like, okay, it's going to be all right, right? That is going to exude out of your body, and it's going to be spread to others like wildfire. So I like to also take in consideration that in my mental, when I am going through the day, like, it's not that big of a deal. I always think like this. At the end of the day has to end. We're all going to
Mm-hmm.
die. We're all going to die at some point, and it's about what we do on a day to day to in between when we're born and when we die, and how to approach these situations, these mundane, these day-to-day activities, these harsh activities, these ebbs and flows of life, right? If you have a positive mindset, it's going to be all right. It's going to be great. You're going to have a good day. Boom. Even if it's a bad day. And even if it is a bad day, it's like, it might be bad right now, but it can be good later. We can still salvage it. We can still do better. Having a growth mindset, that's definitely helped me in my self-care rituals. And then also on a physical standpoint as well, I like to get a haircut. So, every like 2 weeks or so, and if I don't get a haircut, I'm like, dang, I didn't get a haircut. But getting a haircut, feeling like, okay, all right, Gabe, all right, I see you, my boy. You look in the mirror, you check yourself, and it sets a tone for me. It definitely does. It definitely reinvigorates, like, okay, a sense of confidence. And I think when you have confidence in yourself, you're putting yourself in the shoes, or you're putting yourself in the path to do good, be good, and play good, right, in life. So I really appreciate that. I will say that back when I was in college, similar to what Tex was alluding to, is that, previously I used to indulge in the Mary Jane, the marijuana, the day-to-day activities like so. And I'll be honest, I used to smoke weed every day. 2, 3, 4 blunts, bong, rips, all type of stuff.
I was
Joints,
right there
blunts,
too with you.
everything. And in college, similar to what Tex was saying as well, is that your mind is so stimulated that you are always constantly thinking of something. You're always constantly thinking of, oh, I got to do this. I got to do this. There's people. I'm meeting these people, and okay, let's make sure we take care of these conversations and these relationships and what have you. Like, taking a second to just chill, to relax, definitely helped my mental clarity. Just because work, school, I was playing football at the time. It was a lot. Sorry, coach. Yeah, I was blowing weed every day. Yeah. Because it was a lot. It definitely was. It was hard. And to also be away from like home, away from family and stuff, right? All that stuff adds up. And to be able to just, I wouldn't say let it go, but, give yourself a second to just breathe and relax and be like, okay, let's
Debrief.
take debrief and bring the tensions down. And it definitely helped me. I no longer smoke weed just because that was an expensive habit, especially in college.
Very expensive. Very
Very
expensive.
expensive. I do not recommend it for anybody. But what I will say is that in that time, that's something that I did choose to partake in as well. Nowadays, and even then, and on my I have a lot of responsibilities in terms of like at work, at home, in the different organizations that I'm in and what have you. And what I like to do now in my like free time, what have you, that's a self-care ritual for me. And it's always going to be that part of me is to play a little bit of video games, whether it's on my phone, whether it's on like a console, or it might just be like games with my kids, right? Where we get a little active, we'll try and make little activities for them that they can be a part of. Like, I like to compete and, play games because it takes the edge off the rest of the day for me, like, for instance, I got a little game on my mobile phone and I'll play that right after I get out of work. I'll play a little game while my car is warming up before I drive home. And it really just like, the day I just went through complete BS the entire day, but it's set myself up to be like, okay, well, the day isn't horrible. We're still able to do our things that we need to for ourselves. And at the end, these are like, it's like a self-care habit that I've been doing probably since like a child, and I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. But yeah, man, those are a few
Yeah.
things. You know, yeah, man, I like to look good, I like to feel good, I like to play good, I like to eat good.
You
Man,
know what's
that's so.
funny?
Hold on, before we die, that's a self-care thing right there. If I'm sorry, yeah, I like to eat good. I like to eat
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like anything across the board. If it's good, it's heat, it's fire. I'm eating it. It don't matter. Honestly, I'll eat something if it's not even good. I eat. You know what I'm saying? Because man, sustenance is next to godliness, right? They say cleanliness next to godliness. Sustenance is next to godliness, right? That's definitely helped me a lot in terms of like just we do things like self care shopping or self care eating or
Or
self care
they call it retail therapy. Retail therapy.
retail therapy. There
Which
you
is
go.
a real
That deal.
thing, by the way. It's a real thing. My mom does this shit a lot. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Oh,
my dude,
retail therapy?
my
Yeah,
dude's
she
going
did.
crazy.
Yeah.
So okay, cool. Yeah, it happens a lot. It happens a lot, and I like to eat. But then also,
Yeah.
I will say I started doing this intermittent fasting, so I won't eat till 12. So 12 to 12, I don't eat. And I'll be honest, man. Seeing like the change in my body and the way that I feel, I try to do that at least like twice a week, right? That feels so good. Oh my God, it's like a total reset. I like that a lot. You guys should try it out. But
Yeah,
you take it
that's
away. My bad. I'm over here
oh no, I
just
was gonna say
rambling.
it's crazy. It's crazy how the smallest habits can make the biggest differences in your mindset and your life. It's
Mm.
funny when we was in college, we used to share. We were roommates. You used to play video games
Mhm.
too damn much, and I used to be like, God damn, bro, snuff 2K. And just to say, I used to get my ass whooped in 2K Madden, so that's all I can say because I sucked at that shit. But I'm good now. But yeah, it's a
I hear you.
real thing. It's a real thing. Those small little things that you do on a daily basis can be part of your daily self care rituals.
Yeah, I feel like the people that, oh my bad, not to cut you off. I apologize, but I feel like the people that think self care has to be like something extravagant. It's really about just
Yeah.
being intentional. You know, like it
Yes.
doesn't have to be like, oh, I need to go do this, and I have to accomplish this, right? I have to pay this money. I have to go get this therapy, actual physical therapy or mental therapy. I got to talk to a therapist. I gotta go, I gotta go run 6 miles, and I gotta take. It's like it's not that big of a deal, honestly. Like it's really about the intention behind it. Like this is just something I do that calms me, just something that brings me to my zen, my center. You know,
Something that gives you peace,
peace.
tranquility, a little bit of humility.
Very
You know,
nice.
I be seeing those people do ASMR and stuff, and I'd be like, well, it's pretty nice. I heard some people are indulging into ASMR, I guess, audios and stuff, and it gives them some sense of relief, which is interesting. But it's if it works for them, I ain't knocking it down. I ain't gonna yuck somebody's yuck. So
You can't yuck at
yeah,
somebody's yum. Now that's out of pocket.
yeah.
That's crazy.
So now let's get into the next segment is breaking the myth that self-care is selfish. Let's get into some. This needs to be addressed. I think there needs to be a distinguishment, an understanding. First of all, why do people act like self-care is selfish? It's not. It's kind of a part of who you are. Everybody, first of all, I would like to start off by saying I believe everybody is innately selfish. I think so.
I think
But
you have to be.
exactly,
I think as a human, you kind of have to a little bit, just a little bit, right? Like there's always a
you can't
protection of
always be
self, right?
selfless, you know? You can't always be selfless to where it's only like what's going on around you. It's all about what's also going on with you. Like what's going on in your mind, what's going on in your body. That is not selfish if you want to prioritize those things. Now, there is to a certain extent where I do feel some people do go, not to be judgmental here, but they go overboard to where it's just me, which you can now tell by the way their lifestyle is. It's like, they have a very selfish demeanor. But if you're being selfish for your own well-being, selfish for your own mental health, selfish for your own physical health, selfish for your own stomach, selfish for if you're somebody who does not want to listen to certain music because you just feel like it's not good for you, that's your own sense of self-care because you're exposing yourself to what you want your mind to hear. Because I learned this from a professor in grad school. He told me what you listen to is also who you become. Because I always thought about it's like, you tell me who's around you, I'll tell you who you are. It's also about tell me what you read, tell me what you listen to, tell me what you eat. Those things are also things that define who you are. So I think that is an aspect of self-care is actually understanding the self first. And it's funny enough because this is something I had to learn actually when I was doing that activity we had discussed about blowing that reefer. I came up with this whole thing called city, right? I was over here I was in this phase in my life trying to say, what is it that I need to start to focus on myself now? Because at that time, I was just focused on external factors. I wasn't really internally challenging myself. So I gave myself an acronym. Shit, find out. I turned it into an organization and doing stuff with it. But initially for me, it was just more of me trying to control myself, to tell to myself, how do I stay true into myself? Because if I'm not able to facilitate myself, I am not able to facilitate myself within my community, within everywhere I'm at. Because it all starts with you. And no matter anything that you're involved in, no matter, I think, anything that you do touch or listen, or it still has to come from you first. So that's something that for me, I've really now ingrained into myself. And I don't think that that whole myth about self-care is selfish. It's kind of not true because you have to be able to address yourself first and seeing how those things are important for you only. So yeah, you got
I
what's
really
your
like the
follow up
way
to
that
that,
you
man?
put that. I really like the way that you articulated that subject right there. I think it pays itself forward, not only to share that story about how you were speaking to your graduate professor, but in addition as well, making sure that we have a clear distinction between selfish, selfless, and what self-care is, right? Now, I will say this, bro, like society has really programmed us to prioritize everything but ourselves, right? We got social media, we're looking for follows, or, we got to work hard, we got to sacrifice for others, we got to put people first and what have you, right? We are taught that doing these things, right, is the right way to live. But what happens when you're running on E? What happens when your social battery is depleted? What happens when you're at wit's end? You don't know what to do. Your back is against the wall. What are the steps that you take? What do we do to
Exactly.
reinvigorate ourselves? And what does that look like?
It's you hit it right on point. I don't think you can pour from an empty cup. I've never seen that happen unless you can show me. I would believe you, but in this world that we live in, I don't think you can pour from an empty cup. And I think taking care of yourself isn't selfish. It's just necessary. And it's something that is kind of a mandatory actually to your own survival. And it's something that you need to be able to ensure. How do you fill yourself up? So yeah.
Factual, actual factual. And
Hmm.
I'll be honest, let's be real though. When you take care of yourself, right, you're showing up better for others, right? If you take care of yourself first, you can do better for everybody else. But if your mental state, physical state, spiritual state is cloudy, is misguided, is not in the correct form, you're going to be putting out energy, putting out decisions, and affecting other people's reality entirely different than if you were coming from a state where you're centered, you're on point, and you know what you're doing. So I think that is something that people honestly forget. And I don't think that's actually taught to people to actually take the necessary steps for yourself so that you can be better for others, right? It's like
That's so
this
true.
this thing that comes from a show I used to watch called Gurren Lagann. It says, be the you that I see through me and believe this. Oh, hold on. Actually, no. It says, believe in the you that believes in me, right? Meaning you have to believe in yourself first to believe that you'll be able to do well for somebody, to be able that person will be able to do well for you. It's like a circle effect. And if you don't have that, I don't know. You might be missing something, right? It's a sense of belief. It's a sense of, I'm gonna take care of myself so that I can take care of you, but you also need to take care of yourself so that when I'm taking care of you or I may be down, you can take care of me, right?
Yeah.
If that
Yep.
makes sense.
It's like
Does that make
yeah, that makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. And it's kind of like the rest and recovery in sports. You were an athlete before. if you don't take care of
Yes,
your
sir.
body, you're going to burn out. And same kind of thing goes for life. How was your experience with that, being a D1 athlete and, rest and
Being
recovery?
a D1 athlete it's a fine line, bro. And I'll say it like this: if you don't have the necessary outlets for therapy, for recovery, you're not taking those steps, you're going to, for all intents and purposes, kill yourself, right? You're literally depleting your entire body and energy of energy, of sustenance, of what you need to perform, right? If you're not taking the steps to recover, right? Ice therapy, stretching, you're eating, making sure that you get the right amount of sleep, and then in addition as well, some a little bit of sunlight doesn't hurt anybody as well. If you're not taking the necessary steps to actually take care of yourself to recover, right? To center yourself when you come to perform, right? When you come back to practice, when you walk around day to day, you're going to be in an entire different mental, physical, and soul state. So it's not only important, it's mandatory that you take the necessary rest and recovery, because when you're able to show up, you're similar to like what we said before. When you can show up for yourself, you can show up better for others. And at the end of the day, it's a team sport majority of times, other than like golf or solo
Even
tennis.
golf is a team sport. You got to have a caddy. You got to have a caddy in
True.
golf.
This is true. If your caddy ain't showing up for you, what you doing?
Yeah.
I need
Yeah.
my 9-iron. Ain't nobody to grab. Now you got to grab yourself. You can't use some golf tournaments. You can't even be in the tournament unless you have a caddy. So good
Yup.
point.
Yup.
So what I would like to say though as well is that to anyone listening, right, you have to give yourself permission to rest, right, to recharge and to take care of you. It's not only important, it's mandatory. If you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not giving yourself space to recover, to get back into good standing with your mind, body, and soul, you're not going to be putting out the production. You're not going to be giving the energy. You're not going to be bringing the enthusiasm that you're so well known for out to the world, right? You're not going to be able to do these things if you're not taking the necessary
Yup.
steps. So make sure that you're taking those steps.
That is right on the nail of the head. Now let's get into segment 3 for the founders. All right. So
3.
3 for the founders today. 3 things to know, try, or reflect on. So number 1, what you got for us, Gabe?
Let's see. So number 1, man, self-care is not a luxury. Okay. It's a necessity. It is pertinent. It is important. And whether it's 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days, 5 years, okay, don't do 5 days. I'm putting 10 on 2 right there. But whether it's 5 days, 5 minutes, 5 hours, right? Make sure you're taking time for yourself, right? I know that my mother-in-law, she always takes time to go on a trip, right? They just got back from Hawaii. She works hard. She works her butt off. They need time to reset. They go on trips, right? My best friend, what he does is he goes and finds the newest, best restaurant, and then he sends me a video of what plate he got. Tex, I know you go on walks. Me, I like to play video games. Find something, whether it's 5 minutes, 5 hours, whatever. Do something for you so that you can have time for yourself. We all work hard. This is a capitalistic world, especially out here in the United States. Take some time for yourself. Take that PTO. Take that VTO. Take that vacation. Take that UPT. Whatever it may be. Take some time for yourself, because at the end of the day, the only person that's going to take care of you is you. But when you take care of you, you're able to take care of everyone else. You
That's
got
true.
anything, Tex?
Number 2, I would say protect your peace. That means saying no to things that drain you and yes to things that restore you. And now to number 3, hot topic. Give us a hot topic of the day.
Super hot fire. Hold the water. Hot topic. Okay, so related to self-care, right? They say common sense is not common. A lot of people say this, right? Self-care is not common amongst most people, right? They either overindulge in it or they underindulge in it, but there's a fine line on what is right, what's enough, right? Similar to what we were alluding to in our college years, right? We smoked weed. I smoked weed. He smoked weed. You know what I'm saying? Hey, happens. I overindulged in it. I'll be honest. I definitely did. And the
I did too.
overindulgence in anything is not good for your well-being, right? A little bit of this here, a little bit of this there, right? Won't hurt you. Might just be good for you. But overindulgence in things is going to set you up for failure. Make sure that when you are having self-care, when you are taking time for yourself, your mental clarity and what have you, is that you don't overindulge, but hold yourself accountable. You know, if I wanted to, I don't think it would be a problem. I think I live in California. If I wanted to smoke weed one day, right? I mean, I'm not going to, but I don't think it would be a problem, right? I have the mental fortitude. I have the actual volition in my body to, hey, I could do this and still be on point and take care of people and do things that are necessary for me. Tex, in terms of overindulgence, like, do you have anything to say about that? Like, what's your idea of overindulgence?
I'm going to quote Stephen A. Smith real quick before. So, stay off the weed. That's all I can say when it comes to overindulgence.
It's crazy.
And for me, another thing that I would, I guess, emphasize is when you overindulge into something, just realize there's consequences that comes with it. Too much of something is not good. There's a old saying that I learned. I don't know who it's from or whatever it is, but it says, you hang around fools, you're going to be a fool. You hang around people who are smart, you might end up being smart. So, where your time is spent, where your energy is spent, the food that you put in your body, the water, whatever it is, just remember, if you do too much of it, there's repercussions to it. It can be good or bad, no matter what it is. So a good balance is something that is essential. And that is all I got on that. So, before we wrap up today, first of all, I would like to say Steelers are going to win the Super Bowl this year. Woohoo! And also, this is the greatest team in the world, Arsenal. And LeBron James is the greatest player in the whole world. And hopefully the Kings, the jersey you got on, go Chris Webber. But anyways, let this be a reminder. Take care of yourself is the most powerful thing you can do. And I'm going to go back to how for myself I started. I created this whole little thing called City, staying true to yourself. The only reason I did that is because I wanted to facilitate the necessary discussion of myself to be able to represent myself within the world. So it's very important. Facilitate it to yourself first to facilitate it to others. All right, Gabe, close it out here.
Amen. And just to follow up on that, the Super Bowl has already passed this year. The Super Bowl is going to be next year in 2026. So, yes, the Steelers are not winning the Super Bowl this year. Just letting that be known. Upcoming season, maybe. And just to say, yeah, my Kings were getting to the playoffs. Shout out Chris Webber, big foe before the big foe. Talk about it. But moving forward, just to let you guys know, if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to check us out on the amazing content that we have on the live podcast app. Supporting the podcast means you get ad-free access to nearly 100 other Black-hosted podcasts and help keep conversations like this going. Tex, is there anything else that you'd like to leave us with?
Yeah. Thank y'all for tuning in. We'll see you next time on the Voices of Change. Yeah. Peace out. Go Steelers. Go Arsenal.
Peace. Go Kings. Go Niners. Bang, bang,
Voices of
Niner
Change.
gang, all that.
Signing out.
Thank you guys.